That's pretty funny. Pamela, it's really good to
Yes.
have you on air.
Hey, how are
Welcome
you?
to the show. Good,
Thank you.
good. All right. Pamela is a sing-songwriter, dueling piano player, multi-business owner slash entrepreneur who resides in Arkansas but travels the world regularly.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about.
I hope so.
Yeah. So first of all, tell me about your singing background. I mean, it sounds like you do a lot.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna make this a short version of it. I've been singing since I was in high school. I've been I guess, playing a musical instrument since I was in 5th grade. So I started off as a cello player, and then I went into high school and sang in choir. Went to college on a scholarship, and gave music up for the longest time.
What instruments did you?
She's already knocked on the door and's gone.
Oh, I jumped the show.
Yeah, I know. I had to stop what I was doing. Thank you. Okay.
I love that. Passive aggressive. I love it.
He just got the text. He's in there looking for the shot. I've already done it. Already done. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Cool.
Went to college on a scholarship. Are we good?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
Okay. Went to college on a scholarship, and stayed in music for about 2 years, and then decided that I did not want to be a music major or minor, and completely
Mm,
quit. Did my first album in Nashville when I was 19, and took a little trip over to Nashville, and didn't care for that back then. There was no social media or anything like that back then. So you were strictly going off the word of a producer to get you somewhere. And that didn't
right.
happen. And I was just like, this is a bunch of scam stuff. I'm just not interested in it. So finished
What kind of
college.
music? What was your genre of
Then it
expertise?
was country, which that's what I write now, and I put out as country, more like country rock. I have a lot of I would say 80s and 90s influence on the music
I'm
that I
guilty
write.
for stereotyping you. That
Yeah.
would have been my guess.
Yeah. Well, if you were to hear my voice though, I have a lot of rock influence to it. So
Mm,
um but I cover everything. So when I say cover, because fast forward about 17, 18 years, I taught myself how to play piano because all I took in school was like
mm.
theory piano because I was a cello player. So that's what I played for 10 years was cello and did choir and then very little piano, but taught myself piano probably about 13 years ago and became a dueling piano player. And so that's what I do as my normal, I guess, gigging job. And I've been doing it for about 12 years. And in the midst of all of that, I was like, what do I sound like? I'm covering artists like Alicia Keys, Whitney Houston,
Mm.
Reba McEntire, all over the board. So every genre, every, decade of music. And you almost forget what you sound like. So I was, had enough stage experience at point, and I was like, I want to know what I sound like. So I started meeting with songwriters in Nashville and recorded some of their work to begin with, and then started songwriting with them. And since then, I put out 3 albums and have a full time music career. And in the midst of all that, so now I do dueling pianos. I do a solo and a duo piano show with my drummer, and then I have a band. And so we have traveled. Um, when I say across the world, like I've been to Bahrain, I've been to Cuba, I've been to
Wow.
Australia, Japan, South Korea, Guam, um, all over the world, Alaska, Hawaii, and performed for the military and now I do cruises and things like that. So I'm actually leaving this Saturday to fly to New York for 5 weeks to get on a Norwegian cruise line to perform. But in the midst of all that, became a business owner of several businesses, and I have opened businesses, sold businesses, opened new businesses, and currently we have 2 brick-and-mortar businesses plus an Airbnb, and I do sell refurbished mattresses, um, I guess kind of on Facebook, like if you return a
Yeah.
bed in a box. So if you get like, say, a purple mattress or something like that, and you get it delivered to your house in a box and you're like, I don't like this, and you slept on it, too hard, too soft, whatever, they call people like me to come get it. If it's in good
Mm.
condition, then we resell it. We sanitize it. We take care of anything that's on it. If it's still sellable, resell it, pay the company once it sells. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would ask you, I would normally ask you, how did you transition from the music industry to even being an entrepreneur? But just from knowing you for a few moments, I get that you have a very ADHD, hungry, curious energy,
Hmm.
and No, and it's a blessing. It's a
Yes.
double-edged sword too. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's you can't focus on one thing, but you can do many things. And
Right. It's hard. I mean, yeah, I say it's hard. It's easy for me. Some people don't understand it. And
oh,
so
I'm the
I
poster boy for
yeah,
ADHD.
yeah. Well,
I
and I
wrote a
had
book on it
oh, you did?
for
Awesome. You have to tell me
yeah,
what it
yeah.
is. I'll have to read
I
it.
well,
Well,
I
let
grew
me
up
take that back.
yeah.
I will listen to it in my car when I'm driving everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's more about my childhood, but growing up with ADHD in a very religious community and having to navigate all that on my own. But yeah, I can certainly understand how, when you do have ADHD and you're all over the place, you tend to want to fight it, but I think you should weaponize it to your advantage,
Yeah,
and you
I
should
do.
learn like yourself and,
Yep.
find different ways of different streams of income,
That's
being
what I do.
opportunistic, ride the waves as they come.
Yep.
I had a question for you. So
Yeah,
if we were to go back a few years back to COVID, I just out
sure.
of curiosity, not that it's relevant COVID specifically, but I'd like to know how, like when times change, how you adjusted and how did COVID affect you?
So, in Arkansas, we were shut down for about 6 to 8 weeks, and I streamed my music online.
Cool.
Yeah, so I just got online, usually once a week and, would take requests, and I would do a totally, solo show, and I was, you know, drinking during COVID some during the show, and so I think some of my friends who would get on my shows would think it was funny because I would drink with them, and I would get drunk, and then I couldn't play no more.
That's pretty
And they
funny.
yeah, they would actually go, "This is the funniest I've ever seen you," and I was like, "I can't even play 4 notes. I've played this same song for 10 years. I can't my
That's
hands
pretty
won't
funny.
do it." Yeah, I could sing it because I mean, the words were there, but here to my fingers were not working. And,
Right.
I had to since then, that particular episode, I had to, like, hide on the internet. I was like, "I don't want anybody having that." It was kind of embarrassing. I mean, I didn't pee
Yeah.
myself or anything embarrassing. I was just, being kind of
I mean, good
probably
content.
loud and obnoxious.
Any news is good news, right?
Right.
Whatever helps you go viral.
Right. Well,
Um,
and I never did that, I don't think, but I was just like, I don't want that image of me out there. So I was
yeah,
like,
fair
we're gonna
enough.
silence that. And it might
Fair
have
enough.
been Easter the next day. I think I got up feeling a little guilty the next day. I was like, okay, since I kind of got drunk last night, let's go ahead and play for the Lord.
That's
Mm.
funny.
Let's
So
do some Easter
so
songs.
I'm curious because you mentioned that you started a handful of brick and mortar and companies, and I
Yeah.
think one of them is a health and wellness business.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
Well, so, and I'll just share my my experience. About 3 years ago, I was probably at my heaviest weight, and a lot of it was from drinking alcohol and touring so
Oh,
much. When I was touring with my band and we were doing military
God
tours.
damn.
What? What are you looking at? You looking at
No,
my
I mean like,
picture? My
no,
before and
I'm like,
after?
I'm like, God damn that you gained so much weight just from drinking. I'm like,
Well,
you
I
must have done a lot
did.
of drinking.
Well, it's yeah, so not only that, it was, and not watching my diet and then
Yeah.
perimenopausal symptoms started coming
Mm.
on. I mean, I'm 50 years old now, so almost 51 and I guess I was about
I would never
4
guess.
well, thank you. About 46, 47 at the time and just with age and especially with women, our hormones kind of take a jump who knows where, I don't know where they go, but it's like you get on off the metabolism train. It's like you're going and you're like, "I
Right.
think I can kind of fight it," and then all of a sudden it goes, "Beep, beep, beep," done, and then
Hey,
anything else you do
sorry,
at that
sorry,
time
sorry. Just one second.
yeah.
It, I so Amina, hi. Sorry to. So I think you have the link from last time. It's why I don't send the link to everyone because it's the same link for everyone, and it's the weirdest thing because people do jump in the podcast because I'm doing back to back. So Amina, I apologize, but I will text you and just if you can text me. Yeah, I'm in the middle of an episode now, but I will message you once I'm done. I don't know if she hears me, but okay. And it's fine. She
You
can
might have to
listen in if
text
she
her.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so,
Anyway.
as you're saying.
Well, anyway, so I kinda just your bodies kind of just jump off the metabolism train, and it happens to guys too, but, I think more with women because now most of the people that come into our clinic are women, but 3 years ago, I was at my heaviest. We were traveling a lot. I was doing a lot of military tours at that time with dueling pianos and with my band, and, of course, when you go on military bases and you're throwing the party, what do they wanna do? Feed you drinks, and
Right.
I wasn't saying no. I was like, "Okay," but what I realized is during and working in a bar for 12 years, people send drinks up, and so I was partaking, and I wasn't getting drunk, but it was enough that it was slowing my metabolism down significantly. And
Right.
I
And it
started
also
on,
like it's
yeah,
also like a snowball effect. It's not just even the drinking, it's what
yeah,
the laziness
hmm,
and all the behavior that drinking does
right.
invite, and it's kind of like it's like a positive feedback loop where things just get worse and worse and worse.
Right. Well, so what was happening was I was not taking as good a care of myself. I thought I was because I wasn't eating as much. And I was like, this weight is not coming off. So I would try keto. Well, I've got a sweet tooth. So that was, they say it's about willpower. Well, it's not just that. When your bodies change as you get older and your hormones change, and that's, one of the reasons men go on testosterone when they get older is because
Right.
you don't feel as good and you start gaining weight, you start getting tired all the time. Some friends of mine had lost significantly, a big amounts of weight. When I'm saying that, I'm talking about like, 60, 80 pounds. And I was like, what are y'all doing? And that's when like Monjaro and Ozempic, they were giving coupons out for it. So everybody was able to get it before the shortage
Right.
of the type 2 diabetics,
Mm.
right? And they were fighting that. They were like, oh my God, now we're out of medicine for the type 2 diabetics because all of these people are starting to get on it to lose weight. And then the FDA approved it for that.
Right.
So I went to a doctor and I said, how do I get on this? Because I'm miserable. I'm getting depressed. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel.
Mm.
Cut my drinking almost completely out. And started seeing a little bit of weight loss, and just started not worrying about my weight and letting the medicine do its thing and making better choices, because on that medication, my food noise went away. So I wasn't, when I was feeling down and depressed, I
Right.
didn't feel
Those
like I need to go to,
cravings don't kick in at
right. They
midnight.
don't. And
Right.
so then you're just like, did I
Mm.
eat today? And because it's not there anymore. All that's
Right.
gone. And over a 2-year period, I lost right at 50 pounds. I lost it very slow, which I was fine with, because one of the things I realized was time's going to go on anyway. So I can either try to do something about it, make better choices now that my mind is clear and
Mm.
I'm not partaking in such the unhealthy. I'd still drink sometimes when I'm on stage every now and then, or have a
Mm.
drink, here at the house if we have people over socially. But I just was more cognizant about how much I was drinking, and the fact that if I stayed away from it, the weight was coming off quicker than when I was on it. And so an opportunity came up. I had plateaued and been off the medication for about a little over a year, and an opportunity came up business wise for us to get into that business. And I thought, you know what? I want to help other people
Mm.
feel better about themselves. And so I started back on the shot because I had about 15 pounds that was like, well, I guess this is where my body's going to be. And I was okay with it. But I had about 15 more pounds I wanted to get off. And when we opened the clinic back in May, I started on the weekly injections again, and I'm down 12. So
So
I've got
Pamela,
between 3 and 5.
when you say clinic,
Yeah.
I'm curious. That's a fascinating story. When you say
Yeah.
clinic, is it special? Do you like? Is it specifically with weight loss and Ozempic? Or
So we do a compound of semaglutide and Monjaro. And so
mm.
we do a compound. We have a doctor we work with that will telehealth almost anywhere in the United States. I think he's
Right.
got like 10 states he's not certified or licensed in, but then we can get a different doctor that is to do it. So we specialize in they're called GLP-1s, which is
Yep.
glucagon-like peptides. Yep.
Yep.
So we specialize in those, and we also do LED red light therapy. So to take care of that saggy skin that you get when you start losing weight, and then,
Where's my
uh,
laser care?
yeah, come
care?
on, there you go. Yeah, you got to get that red light in, and so that helps with joints. And the saggy skin and the loose skin helps kind of tighten that
Right.
up. And then we have an M Slim, which is to help with the muscles because you lose a little muscle mass when you lose the weight. And
Well, Ozempic,
then,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then you
But
have
the problem,
yeah, go
the
ahead.
sorry to cut you off,
No, you're
Pamela, but
fine.
the problem with Ozempic is that, and y- it's important that when you're on it, you kind of segue into a discipline system,
Yep.
because if once you get off it, you're going to balance back to equilibrium. If you
Right.
didn't, like it's not a silver bullet to solve the problem.
No,
It's
it's not gonna
makes
keep it off. You've gotta
right,
do
and that
something on your
that
side.
bridge of like being, down a downhill spiral and gaining weight and having insane cravings at midnight, those are really hard cravings to
Mhm.
break.
Yeah,
And Ozempic can help bridge that gap to get you on a proper footing. And
right.
I think that there really isn't a one size fit all solution for losing weight. I think
No.
it's an iterative process of exploration, trial and error, doubling down on
Mhm.
what works for you and
Right.
throwing away what doesn't.
Yep.
And I kind of had a huge breakthrough on my own when I started doing intermittent fasting. So it's been about 2 years now.
So
So
and
I do about
that's helped me too. So that's the thing is like because I don't have the food noise, I am only eating during that.
right.
So, that was an 8-hour period, 8 to 10, depending on your body type, they say, because I was trying
I
that
do
on my own
4 to
physical journey.
6. So
Okay.
I do 18 to 20 hours, but it's hard to lock in the schedule. And once you lock in the schedule, it's it's like you live on much you're a lot more optimized.
Mhm,
You consume fewer calories, you feel great, you break your fast, food tastes amazing.
mhm.
And when it's time to stop eating, it's like you're not even hungry at all.
Right.
So I do two things. I do intermittent fasting and I cut processed sugar.
Yeah.
So anything that has added sugar is a no-go.
I
So
so
when
wish
I
I could do that.
in fact,
I so wish.
I did that first. I did that first. No, here's the thing. People
Yeah.
think it's impossible, but you have really good substitutes, right? You
Mhm,
have fruits, you
mhm.
have monk fruit cake. Like when I go to a place and they're having like monk fruit cake and stuff, like I just buy it all
You like it?
because I don't get it. Yeah. So I really care about not spiking my blood sugar levels.
Right.
I care more about longevity and
Mhm.
aging. So,
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
yeah. Yeah, I'm 35.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
still at a good, like, hopefully keep your
Yeah.
metabolism there.
Right, right.
Your
And
40s are a little more difficult.
yeah, yeah. So you mentioned like exactly. So you mentioned that in your
Yeah.
50s and it was started gaining weight and it was a question of
Mhm.
aging. Yeah, with everyone it's different, but for guys, at least maybe I speak for myself,
Yeah.
it also creeps up on you where
Yeah.
you start to notice it's a very gradual process. And sometimes when you have that shock factor where there's a specific event and you start gaining a ton of weight, you get put in panic mode. And that pain and stress does sometimes elicit a positive response to deal with
Mhm.
the issue. When it really subtly creeps up on you, it's like there's never a certain step where you're like, okay, now I have to take control of the situation. And
Right.
then before you know it, you're gaining weight and it's all falling apart.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
my philosophy here is, um, it's much easier to be preemptive than reactive,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, and it is, and like you said, it does creep up on you, and that's kinda what happened, like, I know I was, like, hanging around 195, and I could go down to 190, and that's still too heavy for me, but I was like,
right,
after having children, and I have 3 kids, and I was like, "Well, I mean, every time I try to lose it back down, it would just come back on," because
right.
yeah, I'd go on keto. Well, you can't stay on keto forever. It's so hard,
Th-
and I know a lot of
that's
people
so
that'll
true.
cycle on and cycle off, and I'm like, "Well, that's great," but when I start adding carbs back in,
Right,
now I want more carbs, and I just couldn't do it,
right.
and so I've done keto several times during my life, and I'd lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, and if I
But
really stayed
you're
on
like, this
it.
is unsustainable.
Mhm.
I totally agree with you. And I had a very similar experience where I used to run 2 to 3 miles a day.
Yeah,
And just to keep my weight, like I would fluctuate plus minus 10 pounds.
right.
And the second I would stop running, it would just flood right back in
Mhm.
like a week.
It's
And I'm
hard.
like, this isn't it. Like, this isn't the solution.
No.
This isn't something that I can integrate as a natural part of my life. And this is why I subscribe to a mentality called progressive extremism, where you take on these tiny, tiny commitments that
Yep.
almost seem frivolous or trivial, but you integrate them into your lifestyle to the point where it's just a part of your identity.
Yeah,
And and
it's just what you do. Yeah.
right. So like, you tiny fasting or like you wouldn't eat certain kinds of sugar, like you just wouldn't have soda pop in the house, like these
Yeah.
weird rules, but then eventually you incrementally add them on and before you know that you make real progress. And that's how
Yeah.
I see it. Like anything I'm going to commit to, like this whole New Year's resolution, it's all garbage.
Yeah.
Like there's no point of going all out and throwing the kitchen sink at a problem and
Right.
then losing 30 pounds, that's great, but then you're going to go right back to that
Mhm.
equilibrium state. So if it's not sustainable, then I wouldn't even entertain the idea.
Right.
So something like fasting where I did 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, and then I'm so used to doing it that it feels weird not doing it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of the coaching that I have to do, and I think that, where my passion lies is I know how it feels to be heavy and like I said, I was 217, I am 155 now. This is
Awesome.
yeah, I got married at 155. My high school weight was between 148 and 150, so if
And
I
if you
could
get a feel of that, you can never go back. Like,
I know. So people
yeah.
asked me like, "Are you gonna stay on it forever?" And I went, "If I have to." I was like, "I
Yeah.
don't want to."
And they're like, "Oh, that's so hard." And you're like,
It's
being
not.
overweight is way harder. This
Right.
is the cheapest route. Like
Right.
fasting is not the harder
Right.
thing. It's the easier thing, I promise you. Living
Right.
with yourself when you're not happy is way worse.
Right, right. And so for me, like I said, the shot allows me to make that decision. And
Mm.
right now I'm back on weekly. For the year that I was at that plateau where I was like, I'm not losing anymore. And I guess this is where my body wants to be. I was at like 167, 168. I was like, but I'm not 217. I'm not
Yeah.
200. And I was like, if this is where my body wants to be, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Um, and so there's a thing about cycling on and off peptides, and this is all the peptides that, are coming out, like the NADs, the different types of peptides. There's actually a book that I've been reading that's talks about cycling on and cycling off, like 3 months at a time to get the best benefits. So your body
Mm.
doesn't get used to it. Kind of like the intermittent fasting, you get used to eating during that period of time
Right.
that your body does what it's supposed to do during the other time. So you're
Mm.
getting the fuel you need. And then, like for you, you're not eating for however many hours, but then you're eating, your body goes, oh, okay, well, now it's time to fuel and I can make that last. And so then
Right.
your, your insulin levels stay the same, your sugar levels in your body stay the same because it's used to it. The peptides, they're saying from what I'm reading, and the glucagon-like peptides, the GLPs are peptides that your body already makes. Um, but increasing certain ones, especially as you age, is supposed to slow the aging process on your insides, I guess, is kind of the
Mm.
thing because your body already makes them, and as we age, they deplete. Um, and so, like I said, I'm doing a little bit more research on the other peptides that are out there and, trying to read about how to cycle them correctly
Mm.
so that I don't get used to them and get dependent on them. But, so there's lots of
Yeah,
research out there on them. Your
it's
body,
always a tough
yeah,
yeah, it's always a tough middle ground because like when you take these
yeah,
supplements, sometimes you can be um instigating bad behavior in your body to stop producing whatever
right.
it is because it's expecting it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, at my age, I don't produce a lot of them anymore anyway. So adding them back in, gradually so your body just feels better. And I can tell you, and like I said, I know that sometimes the GLPs are controversial. Some people are like, well, I don't want to get on that, because
Mm.
you're supposed to just work out more and you're supposed to do this. And I'm like, but when you've tried all that and your body is not cooperating and it's holding on outside of starving yourself and just being miserable, I'm like, I have to coach people all the time because they get so worried about their weight and they're like, it's just not coming off. And I'm like, okay, so tell me what you're doing. And what are you doing? Well, I had like one patient, she was telling me, she's like, well, when I go to work, she's a nurse, and she's like, when I get a chance to eat and, I go down to the cafeteria and depending on what they have that day, I said, but what are you eating? She's like, well, I try to make myself eat a salad. And then, depending on what they have, it might be a piece of pizza. I said, but why are you eating both if you're not hungry for both? You're forcing yourself to eat more calories than what your body's telling you
Right.
you need. Either eat the salad or eat the pizza. Like, because she's like, because then I make myself eat it and then I'm miserable the rest of the day. Okay, you're eating too much. Your
Yeah.
body's telling you you don't need that. Your body, so if you
And the
want the
more you eat,
salad,
the more your body expects to eat because
right.
that's what it defines as full.
And when she
Yeah.
stopped worrying about that and took that advice, she lost 5 pounds that next week. I was
That's
like,
great.
okay. And then so another patient, same thing. She's like, I said, what are you eating? And she was eating 6 times a day. She's like, well, that's what Optavia was telling me to do. And I said, but you're not on that anymore. You
Mm.
don't have to be on that anymore. So your body has been doing that for whatever, and you've been stalled and you've not lost any weight. I said, cut the snacks out and eat when your body is. You can still eat what that stuff is, but don't force yourself to eat
Right.
because the medicine will do what the medicine is supposed to do.
Right.
Listen to your body when you're on it and it'll start to come off. Stop forcing yourself in these other do one diet at a time. One thing at a time. Get
Yeah.
the weight off, and then when you get off of the medicine, integrate back in intermittent fasting, specifically like you said, like you did that and you feel better.
Yeah.
Um,
And what I've
don't do
noticed is a lot.
everything.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Slow and steady wins the race. And
Mhm.
yeah, I've noticed like a lot of women are more hesitant to get on intermittent fasting. And even if you look at a lot of the science, it's kind
Mhm.
of interesting because
Yeah.
whenever they separate it by sex, like with the mice, they always notice that, first of all, intrinsically, women do live incrementally longer than men,
Mhm.
but they're also less responsive to longevity treatments. And they're
Right.
also more, again, marginally, but
Right.
sometimes it's kind of even, but they're more hormonally sensitive to
Mhm.
intermittent fasting. So it's a bit of a tightrope there.
Right. And part of what we do, and one of the things that, like when I said when I'm coaching in our clinic, because we end up being their coaches, the doctor prescribes it, we end up being the ones that talk to them all the time, when especially if they're getting discouraged and, well, I lost 1 pound this week, and I'm like, it's okay. It's a pound you don't have to worry about. It's gone. So
Yeah.
keep on. Time's going to go on. And if you're losing even 5 pounds a month, over 4 months, that's 20 pounds.
Yeah.
That's 20 pounds off your body that you've been struggling with for 4 years to get off that you haven't been able to. And I have
Right.
to tell them, let the medicine do its job and stop worrying, because when you worry and you stress, you produce cortisol, which is a stress hormone that holds on to weight.
Yeah.
So why are you stressing? If that's one less thing you can stress over, just chill. You want to say, just relax, just chill, chill out. And because they've kind of taken on the, I don't have to make myself eat 6 times a day. I can listen to my body. And if I'm done eating, stop eating. Stop cleaning your plate. That's a bad habit we
Even
were
even
taught as
eating
kids.
slower and getting that 20-minute gap of
Yeah.
your body able to pass the message on that I'm full is always a good idea.
Well, and think about
So
us here as Americans, how we're taught. I know how I was taught as a kid. I don't know about you. And I know you said you're Canadian, right? Yeah.
yeah.
How did your parents raise you when you put food on the plate? Finish your
It's a
plate.
very different. Yeah,
I don't know if they
exactly.
did that, but in America, it very much was. There's starving people in India, or starving people. Name the
In
country they
Africa,
wanted.
yeah.
Name the country they wanted to put there and say people were starving. Finish your food. And
Right.
I think that mentality that our parents taught us, and I know where it came from, because you go way back when, during the Great Depression, when some food was rationed, when you went and stood in line and to get your cheese and
Mm,
your milk and your bread or whatever it was back then, it was be appreciative of the food we put on your plate and eat it
right.
all.
Right.
And then they've passed that down from generation to generation. And a lot of the adults I'm dealing with that are trying to break that habit, because even the doctors told them, like, we can put you on the medication, but if you still fill your plate up and you eat
Right.
everything on it because that's the way you have
It's a
always
part of the
done it.
culture. It's a part
Yeah.
of the culture. Don't be wasteful. Don't throw away food.
So I've
I
had to tell them,
completely
put
agree.
less on your plate.
Mm. So Pamela,
Yeah, sorry.
no, you're good. So where could people find? Are you active online?
I am.
Where,
Yeah. Several
great.
things. Yeah. So here's the funny thing. I own a restaurant too. So I'm running a restaurant
What's
and
your?
and bar. It's called The Angry Possum, and it's here in Newport, Arkansas. And so,
Mm,
yeah. And so we own a restaurant bar. So you can find us on Facebook at I think it's TH Angry Possum, because I couldn't put the E in
TH
it because like The Angry Possum, but it's
was already
TH.
taken, right?
Yeah, so it's
T.
TH, and I think they're, on Instagram, it's the.angry.possum. Yeah,
Oh, so the.
on
Okay,
Instagram.
great.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then but we're more active on Facebook, even though I have it supposed to post on both.
right.
If your picture is not just right, Instagram won't allow you. But on
Very
Facebook,
cool.
yeah, you could just search The Angry Possum, and it comes up with a logo. And then we're
Yeah, I added you.
all body health and wellness, which is all body HW, because health and wellness is very long. So we
Mm,
branded everything all body HW, and that's at allbodyhw.com as well on Facebook and Instagram. My singing and music is at Pamela Hopkins Music. So yeah,
that's awesome. Pamela Hopkins music.
Hopkins Music. Yeah,
Very nice. Well,
all the
thank you for your
things.
time, Pamela, and thank you
I
for your
know.
wisdom.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much of that it was, but
No, it definitely. Hey, it was an honest pleasure, honestly, and I
yeah,
think
and
I
when I
love your
get to
energy. It's great.
it's that ADHD energy, right?
Yeah. Can't get enough
Yeah.
of that.
Well, when I'm in Miami, that'll be in February. We should go have lunch or something.
Coffee and lunch would be a
Talk
must. A hundred
talk all
percent.
talk all the peptides, and
100%.
I'll do more research, and we can speak.
Yeah. Well, come prepared. It'll be fun.
I got you.